The vast majority of players pick the Vandal over the Phantom. This applies to ranked and pro players alike, and the Vandal is unquestionably very powerful, but so many people are actually using it completely wrong. No worries, by the end of this video, you're gonna be a one-tap Vandal demon, and we're gonna break it all down. But keep in mind, if you're looking to climb, by far the most important thing for you to master is the fundamentals. This goes far beyond things like crosshair placement and counter strafing too. It also includes things you probably don't even realize you're doing wrong, like peeking, spacing with teammates, or even where you choose to stand. The players who are consistently able to drop 30 in their matches are masters of all these things, and you could be too now with our Aim God Masterclass that is expertly designed to teach you all the fundamentals that you need to know in just one course. Our goal is to have the course teach you everything you need to know, which is exactly why we are constantly updating it as users submit feedback. The game is always developing, and that's why our website is too. With new courses posted every single month, you can be sure that you're always ahead of the curve when it comes to your mechanics. On top of that, we also offer a ranked improvement guarantee, so if you don't climb while using our service, you don't pay. We know, it sounds insane, but our #1 priority is to be a standing name in the community for years to come, and the only way to do that is to create the best product that we can. Check it out using the links down below. First off, we gotta break down the weapon stats so that you know the secrets of the Vandal and how to properly use it to get the most amount of value. Now, the Vandal's damage is consistent. For the head, it's going to take 1 bullet, and you're going to be able to kill from any effective range. For the body, it's going to take 3 bullets to kill if they're 100 health, but it's going to take 4 bullets to kill if they're 125 or 150 HP respectively. Now, for 150 HP, it actually upgrades to 5 bullets if you're only hitting legs, so don't do that. Now, if we go ahead and directly compare the time to kill between the Vandal and the Phantom, we can see the exact situations where the Vandal is objectively the superior weapon. Now, for 15 meters or less, the Phantom just has a much faster time to kill. Just about in every metric, the Phantom is going to beat the Vandal outside of the one-shot headshot, which is going to be true for both weapons at this range. But basically, if you start shooting at the same time against a Phantom user at this range, you're going to lose every single time against them if you're only trading body shots. Which actually tells you 2 distinct things that you need to do when you're using the Vandal. And the first one is focus on headshots. This one seems rather obvious, but most of the time getting in a spray battle with someone is actually just automatically committing to a losing battle. It's better to slow down your trigger finger, focus more on accuracy as opposed to just getting bullets out. But actually, it's in your best interest to try to avoid this range if at all possible. You're just at a natural disadvantage in this range, and as you'll see, when we get further and further away from other Phantom users or just other guns period, the Vandal becomes objectively better and better. Now, interestingly enough, from the 15 to 30 meter range, if the person has 125 HP or less, the Phantom is better, but if they have 150 HP, the Vandal is actually better, primarily because now it takes 5 bullets in the body for the Phantom user to kill the person with full armor. In addition to that, no longer does the Phantom one-shot headshot someone with 150 HP buying a full armored kit, and this is really the range where the Vandal starts to heavily take over the Phantom. And even in a spray battle, if both of y'all have full armor, you are in an advantage in that spray battle, even if you don't hit headshots at all, although it is a bit harder for you to control that spray, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But this just really proves that as long as you can distance yourself outside of that 15 meters, you are heavily increasing your advantage in any of these duels. Whether you're one-tapping them or in a spray battle or anything in between, you are now in the advantage situation up against the second most popular rifle. And now, as you can imagine, at that 30 to 50 meter range, the Vandal still consistently blows the Phantom out of the water. It's going to take 4 body shots to kill someone even if they're at only 100 HP, and the time to kill with the Phantom at 100 HP hitting only body shots is almost 0.1 whole second longer than with the Vandal, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it really is. So when looking at the data, what can we actually learn from how to use the Vandal properly, how to make it the objectively better gun, and how to just get more kills and pop off with it more? Well, first off, we got to talk about effective range. And as you can see, distance is incredibly important in Valorant. As long as you can make sure to stay out of those 15 meters from not only the Phantom, but a lot of other weaponry that actually has better time to kill within those meters, the Vandal just pretty much outshines almost everything else in the game, or at the very least can break even with its time to kill. This means that you need to be extra disciplined around places that you're routing that have close effective ranges, like corridors and cubbies, and it's better for you to use abilities to clear these out rather than trying to dry swing them with only your weapon. often, and if you can choose, actually route to areas on the map that have longer effective range, more open sight lines, and ultimately you will have far less close range engagements, meaning that you'll have an advantage whether you're in a spray body shot battle or the fight ends with a simple headshot. Speaking of headshots, Reyna is one of the best characters to utilize the Vandal with, and we have a brand new Reyna course that you could check out on the SkillCapped website. I would definitely suggest it. If you want to quickly climb out of elo hell, check it out in the links down below. Now, even though there are times when the Vandal has a superior body shot spray battle, this is never the recommendation when using the Vandal, primarily because spraying is very hard to control on the Vandal. Most of the time, you're going to want to be relying on that one-shot capability, and you're not going to want to be committing to sprays at all unless the first few shots of your spray has already connected with the body, and you don't need to hit that many more shots in order to fully confirm the kill. Most of the time, you actually want to rely more on your movement to reset your spray so that you can consistently take small amounts of sprays, bursts, or even tap fires purely, so that you get to keep resetting that potential one-shot capability while simultaneously making it so that you're very hard to trade out. If you swing around the corner, commit to a spray after missing a headshot, don't hit or connect with enough shots to actually kill the person, you become a sitting duck by just sitting there and spraying, trying to commit to something that you're very unlikely to kill with very quickly. And it's far better for you to take a shot or a couple of shots, and then if you miss, reset by taking a sidestep either left or right for a couple of feet, reconfirming your crosshair placement, and trying to fish once again for a potential headshot. Now, the ironic thing here is that you're more likely to want to tap or do small bursts the further you are away from the target, even though on paper you're actually better at further effective ranges at spraying than weapons like the Phantom if you're connecting with your shots. Because of how hard it is to consistently connect with those shots, it's still suggested that you play towards the one-shot capability by constantly resetting your burst or tap fires. Most of the time, whether or not you commit to a spray is going to rely on a couple of things. Number one, have you already outputted a certain amount of damage? If you've hit them a couple of times already, it's going to be a lot easier to commit to a spray, or in a situation where you don't have the luxury to actually reset your aim. So for instance, perhaps you just tapped one person, but there's another person that just swung you close. While you definitely could sidestep and try to headshot them, if you don't feel like you have enough time, you could commit to a spray recoil transfer. But it's important to understand that not every rule is set in stone. There's going to be situations where, because of your health, your abilities, your teammates' locations, and other factors, you're going to want to play your gun engagement slightly differently. Now, regardless of what you do, the most important factor that you need to learn on the Vandal is the art of patience. I said in the earlier parts of the video that if you're in a close range engagement, most of the time against other weapons, it's better for you to take your time and still play for that headshot, because you're especially vulnerable in spray battles in the very close ranges. Yes, you are more likely to connect with them, but you also have a very slow time to kill compared to a lot of other weapons when you're up that close. Now, the reason that you can focus most and take your time on hitting headshots is because you can actually survive a lot longer than you think. Most people think that they will die right away the second someone swings them and starts to shoot at them, but this couldn't be further from the truth. And the way to prove this to you is by going and queuing a deathmatch. I want you to walk around and put your crosshair placement perfectly like you're shooting people, but don't shoot anybody. Don't kill anybody. Just watch and look at how long it takes the majority of people to kill you. Even players that swing you right away and start shooting at you, most of the time it takes far longer than you would think for them to just shut you down. Most people are whiffing a lot, and this is especially true in a situation where you are not crouch spraying yourself, which makes you a sitting target. Understanding that if you are someone that keeps light on their toes, commits to mobility, and doesn't just spray and sit there, you are far harder to kill than you think, and the effective time to kill in games is actually going to be very freaking slow. This will give you the confidence to slow down your shots, not spray nearly as much as you normally would, and most importantly of all, prioritize movement and resetting your aim over panic spraying in every single engagement. There ain't a better feeling than a Phantom user swinging around the corner, crouch spraying you, and you simply sidestep, put the crosser to their head, and one-tap them with ease. Now, the last thing that I'll tell you is a vital one, because one of the most common things that players will do, especially in the low ranks, is they'll win that first round and they'll buy a Vandal. Maybe they'll even buy a Vandal with light armor because they can't afford a heavy armor. And while I think this strategy is incredibly risky, I'm not going to tell you not to do it, but what I will tell you to do is make sure that you aren't the solo person that is running around with a Vandal all by yourself. if you die with the Vandal, at the very least, your teammates should be able to grab it, fight with it, and get more value out of that economy than just you. But far too many times, someone is lurking by themselves with the most powerful weapon on the battlefield, they die to an enemy, and now that enemy gets to take a weapon with better effective range than anything your team has and just dominate you with it. So keep in mind that with great power comes great responsibility, which is a quote that I just made up right now. So you definitely should remember it because it's going to go down in the history books. But anyways, thank you so much for coming by. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.